السلام علیکم ایوری ون. کیسے ہیں آپ لوگ؟ خیریت سے؟ دانش ملیر here from Karachi. I'm visiting this board facility for the first time. Okay, today we have some international vloggers and social media trainers from United States of America, along with the one and only Rehan Allahwala, as you all know, very renowned and famous. Alright, so this is Dennis Yu. He is a digital marketing trainer, social media trainer. He's a vlogger as well. And Mark Wagner with me. He is a social media trainer as well as a travel vlogger. So he's traveling around the world and visiting different places. And now he's in Pakistan enjoying the heat over here of Lahore. And he wants to say that. Alright, so Rehan bhai, we're going to introduce them to all of you.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, कैसे हैं आप लोग? Assalamu alaikum. आप लग रहे हैं ना कोई है. तो आप लोगों को गूगल की SEO का पता है? आप इसके कीवर्ड सेलेक्ट करते हैं. जब गूगल देखता हूँ उससे पहले एक इदारा हुआ इसका नाम था याहू. तो याहू के जितने एनालिटिक्स थे कि पता चलता था कि कौन सा एडवर्ड चलेगा, कौन सा जो उसके बनाया. उसके बाद उसकी टीम टूट के गूगल पे गई और वहाँ पे जाके गूगल का एडसेंस और जितने एनालिटिक्स हैं वो बनाया. अगर वो नहीं होता तो डेटा नहीं वैल्यू रहेगा. तो हमें एनेबल किया इसने 20 साल पहले. आज मैं इसको 10 साल से जानता हूँ तकरीबन. तो मैं इससे कुछ साल पहले मीटर मैंने खाली जावा की आ जाओ तो आ गया. उसकी मेहरबानी. नॉर्मली ये एक घंटे के 3.5 लाख रुपए लेता है. ठीक है, तो आपने इसको अच्छी तरह से फायदा उठाने को यहाँ आया है. कोशिश करें कि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोग सेल्फियाँ ले लें, फेसबुक पे ऐड करने हैं. अगर अपना तारुफ इनबॉक्स में भेजेंगे तो वो शायद आपको एक्सेप्ट करें. नहीं भी करता तो जितने भी हमारे बड़े हैं हम उनसे देख देख के बहुत कुछ सीखते हैं. जबान भी सीखते हैं, बाल भी बनाना सीखते हैं, कपड़े बनाना सीखते हैं, एटिकेट भी सीखते हैं, झूठ नहीं बोलना भी सीखते हैं, झूठ बोलना भी सीखते हैं, घबराना नहीं भी सीखते हैं. तो उसको फॉलो ज़रूर करें. तो ये इसका तारुफ है. आई डोंट नो इफ आई वांट टू शेयर योर नेटवर्क. आई डोंट वांट टू डू इट नाउ, बट वी हैव अ गार्ड डाउनस्टेयर्स. तो अच्छे पैसे बनाते हैं, बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छे पैसे बनाते हैं, जितना आप सोच सकते हैं बहुत ज़्यादा पैसे बनाते हैं. कपड़ों पे ना जाए, ठीक है. मेरे भी कपड़ों में आते हैं. कपड़ों पे नहीं जाना चाहिए, इसके कपड़ों पे भी ना जाए. ठीक है, ये है मार्ट का पठान. तो मार्ट तकरीबन साल के 7 लाख 6 लाख करोड़ में आता है. ठीक है, 8-10 करोड़ में. मार्ट जो मशीन लर्निंग का एक्सपर्ट है, एयरबीएनबी का एक्सपर्ट है. इसका कोर्स है एयरबीएनबी का. एयरबीएनबी किसको पता है क्या है? आप लोगों को पता है. तो एयरबीएनबी से ही अकेले 2-3 लाख डॉलर सिर्फ एयरबीएनबी से कमाता है. पाकिस्तान में होटल्स नहीं है. आपको एयरबीएनबी का बिजनेस साइट गिग के तौर पर शुरू करना चाहिए. तो इफ यू वांट टू लर्न दैट, he has a course on that. You can get it for free or partner with him. ये आर्किटेक्ट ढूंढ रहे हैं हायर करने के लिए फुल टाइम $1000 महीने का. और पार्टनर ढूंढ रहे हैं क्योंकि अभी ये 29 साल का है. रिश्ता भी ढूंढ रहे हैं वैसे तो. लेकिन अगर आप चाहें तो इसके साथ पार्टनर्स क्रिएट करें. पार्टनर्स कैसे क्रिएट करें? पार्टनर क्रिएट करने का तरीका वही होता है जैसे शादी क्रिएट करने का. पहले आप पसंद करते हैं, फिर हेलो हाय करते हैं, फिर डेट पे जाते हैं, खाना खाते हैं, बंदे की ज़हनियत देखते हैं कि क्या ये मेरी मम्मी पापा का प्यार कर सकता है, ये कर सकते हैं, क्या ये मेरे घर का प्यार कर सकता है, ये कर सकते हैं. फिर आप रिश्ता देते हैं. सेम थिंग पार्टनरशिप होती है. पार्टनरशिप करने से पहले बंदे को जानें, समझें, बातें करें. अगर अच्छा लगे तो पार्टनरशिप करें. मैंने इन दोनों को ओपन ऑफर दिए कि if they want to open any startup, first 3 startup, I will be partner with them. I'll be very happy to partner with them. मेरा नेटवर्क में खोल दूँगा. मैं जो जिसके डालने वाले हैं वो उनके साथ भी प्रोग्रामर यहाँ सिस्टम ले जाते हैं, बैंकर से मिल जाते हैं। मुझे नहीं मिलता, दिमाग की ज़रूरत, काम की ज़रूरत है, काम करने वाले यहाँ बहुत हैं। दिमाग जो उसके पास है, जो उसने अपना दिमाग क्रिएट किया है, आप भी ऐसा क्रिएट करेंगे तो आप भी साल का $5 मिलियन से ज़्यादा बना सकते हैं। बहुत सारे कर सकते हैं $5 मिलियन, कितने 90 करोड़ निकाल के। और ये भी देखने की तरह नहीं है, नॉर्मल इंसान है, अब तो बात भी नहीं है, तो ये भी तीन वाला नहीं है, मैं पठाऊँ तो आप फायदा उठाएं आज की मैसेज से, बहुत फायदा उठाएं। सबसे ज़्यादा फायदा ये उठाएं कि फोटो ले लें याददाश्त के लिए। सनी ने कहा था फोटो के साथ अब्यूज़ हुआ है तो प्लीज़ फोटो के साथ अब्यूज़ नहीं करना कि जी मेरा सौदा हो गया, ऐसा नहीं करना। लेकिन कोशिश करना कि ले लो, इससे सवाल करो, ऐसे सवाल करो जो गूगल पे यूट्यूब पे नाम लिखते हैं, वरना वक्त का ज़ाया होगा। जो भी चीज़ तुम गूगल कर सकते हो, सवाल आ रहा है आपको फोन है, आप क्या गूगल कर लो, वो ज़्यादा अच्छा सवाल है जैसे डायरेक्टली। So try to make friendship with them so that maybe you can become partners with them in the future. He wants to hire 1 million social media managers for Pakistan. That's why he's here. The problem is he can't even find you right now. Why? Because we don't understand the culture, we don't speak the language. but जैसे अंग्रेजी बोल रहे लोग कहते हैं भाई शो मार रहा है, तो शो नहीं मार रहे, उसकी ज़बान ही है, उसको अपनी ज़बान भी नहीं आती, चाइनीज़ भी नहीं आती, तो आपको जिससे काम करना है उसकी ज़बान आनी चाहिए, तो इसलिए इसका भरपूर फायदा होता है। Start with some questions. You want to do an intro a little bit, and then we can take questions.
When I was 6, my parents came from China to the United States. Oh, see? Shy. I think the Pakistanis have the most hospitable culture of any country I've ever been to. You guys have been. So I was born in the United States, and my parents spoke only Chinese to me because they didn't want me to have broken accent. So the first words that I learned in English were bad words from classmates. So I had a lot of trouble, and I was very conscious about my English. And I thought I would never be as charismatic as people who, like the white guys who always just seem to know what's going on, and I'm just very not cool. No.
No way.
So I would be sent to the principal's office all the time because these other kids would say, if you really like somebody, you say this word to them, and it was a really bad word. And because of that, I had kind of a chip on my shoulder, and I thought, I'm going to show all these classmates that I'm going to learn to speak English better than them. And I represented California in the National Spelling Bee in 1988. I made it to the quarterfinals too. And that just shows that somebody who doesn't have English as their first language can learn, if they put in the time, to be good at something. And the same thing I saw as true with internet marketing. I built my first website 30 years ago. And back then it was very, very simple, very rudimentary. You don't have the kinds of tools that folks like Mark know how to use. There weren't incubators, they didn't have anything here like enablers. There was no Saqib, there was no Sunny Ali, there was no Rehan. Well, Rehan was doing other stuff. But you guys have an incredible advantage, way further than I have ever had. I just happened to get lucky because I had a mentor who was the CEO of American Airlines. And so he taught me how to speak. He made introductions for me. He made investments in the things that I was doing. And because of that, I was able to go to Yahoo, and I was very lucky to be there at the very beginning of Yahoo and learn about search engines. Now, a lot of you guys might, who's been doing internet marketing less than a year? Less than 1 year, digital marketing? Well, you guys, okay, who's been doing it between 1 and 2 years? Who's been doing it more than 2 years? You guys don't understand what I'm saying, right? But digital marketing, internet marketing, e-commerce, right? Who's been doing e-commerce less than 1 year? Most of you guys. So when you're doing something for less than a year, it's easy to feel like these other people are experts. They know a lot more than me, and so maybe my self-esteem is lower. So when I first started at Yahoo, I really felt like I was very little compared to everybody else. Because the people that I was working with, for example, two cubes away from me was Rasmus Leerdorf, who was the inventor of PHP, and other people who built the foundation of the internet that we use today. And I thought, they're going to fire me, right? Yahoo's going to find out that I don't know what I'm talking about. So I would hide from people. Like David Philo, who's at that point the richest man in the world under 40. We would be together in the men's bathroom and peeing next to each other. And he would ask me, so, how's your weekend? And I'd say, oh, it's really good. And I tried to run away as fast as I could because I didn't want to talk to him. Because I was afraid that he would ask a question that would expose me as being incompetent and imposter and just not really knowing much about the internet, right? Can you imagine being next to somebody like that and he asks you a question? Then you freeze and you're just kind of ashamed, right? But I learned after a couple months, some of these people would come to me and they would ask me some questions, such as, hey, how do you optimize this database? And then I would say, well, obviously, it's very simple. You just set up an internet like this and you run this kind of script. And I started teaching other people within Yahoo how to do this. And some of the stuff that I thought was obvious to me was actually not obvious to other people. And I think you're going to find that that's true for yourself. Things that because you think, that all of us think like we only know this much. And we see these other people that are really successful. And I can tell you stories of other people that are very, very successful. We probably interview these people all the time, right? I get lucky, Mark and I get lucky to meet a lot of these people all the time. But it was only once you overcome that kind of fear and you're willing to reach out and say hi, you're willing to take, come up and take a selfie, reach out on Facebook, build your profile on LinkedIn, start a podcast. That's when your career as a freelancer or as an agency really starts to grow. I'll say a couple more things and I'll open up the questions because I want to hear from you guys. So one of my childhood dreams was I wanted to do marketing for Nike. You guys have heard of Nike, right? I ran cross country, I did marathons, I ran Division I track and field. I'm fat now, but back then I ran a 407. I ran a 407 mile, and I ran a 110 half marathon. I used to run a lot, over 100 miles a week. And so I applied to Nike, right, to get a job at Nike, to try to get an internship at Nike. They just completely rejected me. And I thought, oh, my dream is crashed, they're never going to accept me. And I got even more mad because I saw other kids who were B and C students. I was an A student, I'm like a good Chinese student. But I saw these B and C students, and they were getting into Nike because their parents were friends with somebody else. And I didn't have that kind of connection. And I got really bitter. And I thought, it's not really fair because a few people seem to be very well connected and they seem to control everything. And if you're not in that group, then it's not, you're left out. You ever feel that? You ever feel like you're left out? Then you're not part of the club. So I thought, okay, well, if I learn how to do math, if I learn how to speak English, certainly I can learn how to network. And people that are naturally good at networking, I can learn that. And I realized that it's a skill that you can learn. Like Rihan has learned how to do this, and now he's teaching other people and building up these different communities. So long story short, after going to Yahoo, I learned how to be a network engineer, but not a network like a Cisco Novell router packet switch engineer, but an engineer that built connections. And the way I advanced inside Yahoo, which I think will apply to all you guys here, was that I took other leaders at Yahoo out to lunch. Because my job in analytics was to put all the data together from all the different properties inside Yahoo. You guys remember Yahoo?
Yes.
So there was Yahoo Mail, sports, shopping, travel, finance, autos, horoscope, every one of these different properties that was built separately. But my job, that the CEO gave me, was to get all the data together in one place and have one kind of report, pull together all the impressions, all the transactions, all the purchases, all in the one place, so that if we wanted to buy another dating site, if we wanted to buy Facebook, for example, because I remember our team did the analysis. to try to buy Facebook, but then Mark Zuckerberg didn't come to the meeting. You probably remember. All that work that we did all night, to try to see like what's Facebook worth if we buy them. All of that wasn't because we were really good. We were good at engineering. We built an operating system that pulled in more data than any commercially available system could handle on the internet at that time. So all the search logs from everything that people were doing on Yahoo was 13 terabytes a day back in the year 2000. So there was no need to have security against all this data, because if I gave you access to the log files, you couldn't even open it. It's so big. No security risk. You couldn't even open it. We had built our own operating system to be able to do that. But it wasn't because we built all this technology. It was because we built relationships. So because I made relationships with, Elon Jonathan, who ran Yahoo Games, he would give me all the data. And so when something would change over at Yahoo Games, they would have a new game, they would change the database structure, they'd change their pricing plan, they would have to tell us that they made this change, otherwise it would break all of our reports, right? Or when Yahoo Mail would offer a new product, so they would say, $5 a month, you get 1 gigabyte per month storage, or $10 a month. You guys remember like Yahoo briefcase pieces pay for how much mail? Then Gmail came in and said it's free. And then later they charged. But we had to pull in all the data from all those particular users. But the way we did that across all these different places was because of the relationships that we built with those other engineers within Yahoo.